Hi, everybody. It's Angelo Caruso. I'm in another hotel room. This time we're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which it turns out Shawn has hotels. I'm with Shawn Lee, everybody. Famous photographer, not only in the Detroit area, but he's expanding. And he's really, really good at making friends. He's good at making raving friends or raving fans, and we're going to talk about that in great detail. How are you today?
I am doing absolutely great, man. Thanks for asking.
So I've been looking forward to talking to you for quite some time. I hear really good things about you on the street. What do you think people say about you?
I don't know what I think people say about me, right? Hopefully by the time, if it's bad, hopefully I can reverse that, right?
Yeah.
By the time I get a chance to engage with them. And that's really what it's all about, man, is giving people an experience. And I really do believe this. If you show up to a place or if you're involved in something, make sure that it was better because you were there when you leave, right?
Yeah.
And so if somebody doesn't like me, hopefully I can change their mind, Michael.
Yeah. You know, it's the old camping or Girl Scout motto, just leave the camp space a little better than you found it. It's not a bad motto for all things in life, right? Leave people better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Rock that.
So, Shawn, you are making your bones in Detroit, and of course people can find you at your website, ShawnLeeStudios.com. We're going to get a couple of other sites from you in a minute.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of adjectives. I think adjectives paint pictures for people. There are millions, skajillion photographers out there. If we put a word in front of your credential, Shawn is a blank photographer. What would the word?
Can I use 2 words?
All right.
The 3 words. Well, I would say Shawn is a high energy photographer.
Okay.
So what you see in my business is what you will see right here, right now. It is how I deal with people. So that's probably the best way that I could put that. Shawn is a passionate photographer, right? I think in photography, it's one thing to have the skill set. The other part of it is to engage the client, right, and pull out of them what they didn't think was there.
Right. Well, who doesn't? I mean, those are good adjectives. If you interview the man on the street, the woman on the street, who doesn't like high energy? Who doesn't like passionate? Like, you might be too high energy for some people, but in general, that's a good way to go. High energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people, you will get out of people what you invest in them. Right.
Yeah.
And so if I care enough about their stuff, or for example, their session or their shoot, as if it were my own, then I'll be able to get that back out of them. And that's what makes the job extremely easy.
You know, in a society that is becoming increasingly entitled, what you just said is a piece of brilliance, because if I'm entitled, I don't ever feel the need to invest in you.
That's right.
But if I get up every day thinking I need to invest in you in order to get stuff out of you, like a good shoot, for example, I mean, it changes everything in the relationship. It's interesting you had mentioned 2 or 3 words. I take a book with me on every trip. This one's called World Famous, everybody. And it's by David Tyerman. I'm too early in the book to recommend it to you, but one of the premises of the book, and this is why my brother recommended it to me, he said that you should isolate your theme, your essence of your company to 2 or 3 words.
Wow. Just
like you just did. I mean, I hadn't planned to talk about this, but I asked you for 1 word. You said, can I do 2? And then I immediately thought of this guy, because it's one thing for you to describe yourself as high energy, but imagine your marketing success and your business success if everybody else says, oh yeah, he's the high energy guy. Isn't that what every advertising company dreams about?
You're absolutely right. That's good.
So I love it. So let's talk a little bit more photography, and then we're going to get into raving fans and how you do it, how other people can do it. I want to give people some tips for this.
Excellent.
Pulitzer Prize winning photographer Max Desford died just a couple days ago. Perhaps his most famous shoot, everybody, is this shoot where he photographs these hands that are coming out of the snow, and the hands are frozen. You can just tell this guy's been in the snow for a while. He shot it during the Korean War, Shawn. You may know this. You may have seen it. And it's one of his most famous shots. And they asked this guy a million times before he died, what kind of camera do you use and what makes you a great photographer and all this stuff. And we hear the most arcane things from photographers. They say things like, well, I just point and shoot. And another famous one is, the best camera is the one that you have with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you believe that the technical part of taking a photograph like that is really about the camera, or is some of it just being in the right place at the right time and having high energy?
I think it's actually a bit of both. And it is interesting that you would mention that, because we as photographers are artists, right?
Yeah.
We are artists first, but what I love about photography is that it is equally technical as it is creative. And so you have to, it's almost like being an engineer. You have to know the tool that you're using and how to use it in order to execute the vision that you have in your mind, right? And so you'll find in photography, there are almost two communities. There are those that are strictly artists, and there are those that are strictly technical gurus, right? They know how to work the camera. Yeah. Right. And so bringing both of those worlds together, I think, is extremely important. But ultimately, what's important is the vision that's portrayed on that image. And so the heart being felt. Right.
Yeah.
So
I love this technical and creative and imbalanced, even maybe 50-50. That's interesting. Yeah. I hang around with a lot of professional speakers, and most of us fancy ourselves just to be creative or just to be performers. But when I do speaker training, we bust it down, baby. I mean, I'm talking to you about how many times you use the other person's name. What's the time differential between laughs? What kind of laughs are you getting? You know, we can rate them 1 to 10. A 7 is a big belly laugh. A 3 is a smirk, you know, or a grin. And when you get numbers involved, then you're technical officially. I mean, you don't have to be looking at hardware to be technical. Technical's a number or a metric, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, you're actually talking about mastering your craft.
That's exactly right. And so that's what I was getting at, is that for anybody that's listening, no matter what you do, there's a balance between the technical and the creative. And I think Shawn's hit it on the head. If you ignore one, you do it at your own peril. You need both. If nothing else, there's both types of people buying you.
Yes, I believe you need both in order to properly serve society well, or serve your gift well, right? You need to know it, but people also need the artist in you, the creativity, the innovation that is in you in order to be inspired to do the next great thing or the next big thing that community is supposed to take, that step that community is supposed to take.
You've talked about community a couple times. I know that's one of your secrets. It's not really a secret, but so few people do it.
Yes.
When you niche in a certain area of photography, you start to collect a lot of attention and a lot of raving fans. You're big on community. You're big on helping people up the ladder.
Yes.
Do I have that right?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Michael, I'm going to tell you, my story is a big part of my story, and probably why I'm here, is that I was able to make business happen at a time in Detroit when we were going through bankruptcy, right? So I was able to make business explode. And the way that I was able to do that in an industry and in a market that says you're supposed to do things a certain way, I didn't fit that model. And the only way that I was able to explode business and become relevant is that I had to weave myself into the fabric of my community. I had to become a part of, because you know what I found? People don't need photographers 100% of the time. They just don't, right? I used to be the guy that was on social media, and I would be like, oh my God, please, headshot special. Please use me, 50% off. I will photograph anything you have, your cat, your roof. I will photograph your sidewalk if it made me money. And you know what I found out? People hated that. They just hated it, right? Why are you bothering me with this photography stuff? But what I found out is that if I served causes authentically, right, that I was passionate about, people suffer with things. People deal with things like cancer, and their kids are sick, and people get married. And if they found me in that space, what ended up happening is that I became more than just a photographer. I became somebody they could relate to. But when they needed a photographer, I would be the first guy on their mind. And so that's kind of how I grew business and made it happen. And it was, it's actually great being a part of people's lives. Sure. Right? That was the hidden gift for me.
I can hear it in your voice. So let's approach this on two fronts. The first is the gig that you actually have just arrived at today, which is why you're interviewing in your car. That's how busy this guy is, everybody. you're actually in the community, and I don't know if it's a paid gig. I actually don't even care. But you tell everybody what you're doing.
Well, I'm the head photographer for a program called Motor City Match and Motor City Restore, and it's the mayor of Detroit's Mayor Mike Duggins. It's his program, grant funding program that funds small businesses and landowners and building owners, right?
Yeah.
And it gives $500,000 every quarter to small businesses to give them investment in their business, to seed them in the city, which is amazing. It's federally funded, and so far we have been doing this for 2 years, and I've had the opportunity to photograph a little bit over 120 businesses, right, and building owners that are actually restoring the neighborhoods in which they reside. It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So that's what we're here for.
Listen to what Shawn is saying, everybody. Again, it's not about money. It's about helping, because the money eventually comes. This photographer, this high-end photographer, high-energy photographer, comes to shoot you and or your business at the behest of Mayor Mike Duggan, who, by the way, is rewriting urban renewal history here in Detroit these days. And all this is called a confluence, right? All this good stuff's happening to you, you know, and then you're going to get a little souvenir from your time with Shawn Lee. It's called a photograph.
Yes.
You know, and then you've got this confluence of all this good stuff, maybe the high point in your life so far, your business is taking off, and then you're going to meet this Shawn Lee guy, and it's like these, for the people who are watching, it's like these wheels are coming together right there, baby, right?
There you go.
And how do you think of Shawn by association then, every time you see his name, every time you see him out and about? This is what this man's talking about. The second thing that you do, Shawn, is more panoramic, certainly a bigger windshield. You're involved with this WeLovePhotography.com?
WeLovePhotographers.com. And that is a new, you can think of it as a new photography club that is actual national. It's a national photography affiliate called the Multicultural Association of Professional Photographers. And we literally are in existence to serve the professional photographer or the new photographer who is interested in becoming a professional. And so in our industry for a very, very, very long time, it has always been extremely technical. It's been nerd driven, right, in a sense. And so it goes over a lot of people's heads, the technical part. And so what I found out is that people need more than just photography skill set. In order to be successful in business, they need a community that surrounds them and holds their hand. They need motivation. They need to be inspired. They need business training. So we facilitate all of that, as well as social outings, right? People need that in order to be successful whole, right? Or become the whole type of person. So that's what we have created. It's national, and it's growing like wildfire. And we are launching it here in Detroit.
All right.
Rock that.
Now it doesn't take a genius to see how initiatives like getting up early on a Thursday morning to go shoot a bunch of businesses nobody ever heard of for the mayor, and how working with a startup.com that's uniting people and teaching people to relax a little bit and not take themselves too seriously. It's easy to see how that's going to come back around in our little circle for Shawn Lee Studios.
Yes. Well, business is going well, and it's all because of business is going well, and it's all because of not just my skill set, but how we do business and how you interact with people. Right? I'm gonna tell you, the mayor wanted me to be a part, and people wanted me to be a part of this program, not because of my skill set. It was because of my engagement in community, right? And how I treat people and how I do business. And people trust me because I do what I say I'm going to do, right? It's all of those things. And so, business is good. I can't complain. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I say, well, you know, Michael, it's it's tight.
Well, you may have already done that for a few years. If you're like most of it.
It's good, and I'm gonna tell you though, that is a byproduct of doing things the right way, right? That should be the expectation, that business should always be good, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you always deal with people. right?
Yeah.
And it is people who have the budgets. People may say companies and entities have the budgets, but people control that.
Yeah.
And if you treat people well and you are authentic and they believe you and they trust you, you'll never have a problem getting people's budgets, right?
Yeah.
So you can do what it is that you do.
I'm talking with Shawn Lee in Detroit, everybody. WeLovePhotographers.com. Let's talk about Raving fans, Shawn. You're all over social, a perfect place for a high energy guy. But, you know, a lot of people with high energy, they spray. They're not able to focus the nozzle, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's true.
What do you find works for you? What works for in the photography business when it's time to get the word out about what you do? I'm thinking social's the easy place to say to share images.
Yes, it is. You can certainly share images, and so I tend to think of when I do things, I tend to think of doing them as campaigns, right? So that your message should always be targeted towards something or a direction, and so it's always mission driven. Right. And so the word or the message that you speak or how you speak to people and who you speak it to will always depend on the mission that needs to be accomplished next. Right. And so for me, I think that kind of makes it easy when when we start a mission. And so for me, for my personal business, if that's a high school senior campaign, then my message will be targeted toward them. Right. The junior or the senior or the mom that's getting ready to spend a whole bunch of money for the high school senior. We need to make sure that she feels comfortable. And so we target our message that way. Or if it's serving people, right? That is the message that we target. And if I know it seems probably oversimplified, but it's an effective way for me.
No, I'm with it. So you mentioned doing things, these campaigns that they're actually intentional, right? And I use this term purposeful, right? When I post, I have a specific goal for each post. This blows people's minds because most people can't be troubled with this kind of depth of thinking, I guess. I mean, I don't think it's cerebral. I just think if I'm going to spend this much time on Facebook, man, I want it to pay off.
Yeah. You are absolutely right.
You get these cats that are political all the time, 24/7. It's all they ever do. And they might attract a really fervent audience, but it's all the same type of people. So a little bit ago, I read this recent Quincy Jones article where he kind of went off on a rant, and it got a lot of attention. And when I posted it, I tagged all my musician friends in the post. And I got more feedback. I heard from cats I haven't heard from in ages because I called them out on it in a nice way. I gave them a shout out, actually, in conjunction with the Quincy article. I did the same thing with the Max photograph. I tagged you actually earlier today. Yeah. So I post a photograph and then I tag all my photographer friends. Why? Because that's going to create a sense of community in that post. And smart people in the room are going to start commenting on things like composition, lighting, what kind of gear the guy might have used. They're going to enrich the conversation in ways I never could.
That is so true. And you know what? It makes you relevant in a space that you might not even have been looking to be relevant in. And so if you decide to do something later with musicians, you are now relevant because you've targeted that. I love that. That is just brilliant. That's brilliant, man.
Well, and relevance is the key too, because I think we're like-minded on this. Because if the Quincy Jones article wasn't so hot, it wouldn't have gotten my attention, and it wouldn't be something everybody's talking about. If Max Desfor hadn't just died, the photograph wouldn't be quite as relevant, right? And that's
correct.
And that's why these videos, like when you can do live video, I've seen you do this before too. You're on site or you got a moment before a shoot. You turn the camera on yourself and you just tell everybody, give them a little exposition about where you are today, who you just met. It's matter of fact, right? But make no mistake, everybody, this is marketing.
That's right.
The way to create raving fans is to market your high energy, market your sense of community, market your niche, market your interest. And this guy, Shawn Lee, has it down.
Wow. Don't make a dark-skinned man blush, Michael.
I was just going to say, you can't blush. What are you talking about?
Very true.
We're going to see each other soon and more frequently, I hope, because I do love your high energy. Go check out Shawn, everybody, at WeLovePhotographers.com and also his website, ShawnLeeStudios.com. He's in Detroit right now. I am getting ready to talk to a leadership group here, Shawn, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'll be coming home with a Southern accent.
Rock that. I can't wait to hear that, Michael.
Yeah, so we'll see y'all soon. Hey, have a good shoot, man. I really appreciate you. Go check out Shawn Lee, everybody.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you, man. Have a great one. Bye-bye.